These 5 brake myths don't make cars safer. They make invoices longer. They sound reasonable. Just change pads, ceramics are always best, flushes are upsells, ABS lets you stop and steer through anything, and if the pedal pulses, the rotors are warped. Believe them, and a tiny shimmy becomes a caliper, cheap pads cook rotors, and your wet road stop grows by a car length. Brakes are simple physics: friction, heat, hydraulics, tire grip. Get those 4 right, and the pedal feels rock solid. Get one wrong, and you're buying parts that never needed replacing. To see how small misunderstandings become big bills, we start with the most common shortcut in driveway brake jobs and the fastest way to ruin fresh pads. Myth number 5. Just change pads, rotors last forever. Pads wear, but rotors aren't immortal. Every rotor has a minimum thickness cast into the hat. Go below it, and there's less metal to absorb and shed heat. Fade rises, micro cracks start, and pedal travel grows as the disc flexes. Slapping new pads onto glazed or uneven rotors means the fresh friction never beds evenly. You get hot spots, squeal, and the soft pedal that returns a month later. Machining thin rotors is the worst bargain. You trade precious thickness for temporary flatness. The smart move is measure first. If the disc is above minimum and within runout spec, keep it after a non-directional finish. If it's near the line, replace in pairs with coated rotors so hats don't rust well to hubs. Bed the new pads properly. 6 to 8 medium stops from 60 to 20 kilometers per hour, then a cool-down drive with 0 pedal at lights so you don't print material. Do that, and the car stops straighter for longer. And if you think fancy pad material will save a thin rotor, the next myth shows why the brand on the box isn't the magic. The chemistry is. Myth number 4. Ceramic pads are always the best upgrade. Ceramics can be excellent, quiet, low dust, gentle to rotors, but friction is a curve, not a logo. Many ceramic formulas bite best when warm. On cold, wet mornings, the first stop can feel wooden. On heavier vehicles, towing or long mountain descents, a quality semi-metallic often stops shorter thanks to higher cold friction and better heat tolerance. Track days? That's a different animal. High-temp compounds that squeal and dust on the street but survive abuse at the circuit. Choose friction to match mass, speed, and use. Read the data if the brand publishes it. Average mu, coefficient of friction, and temperature window. For daily commuters in flat cities, ceramic keeps wheels clean and noise low. For hills, trailers, or spirited back roads, a semi-metallic keeps bite consistent and pedal firm. Pick wrong, and the car feels fine in the driveway and vague when it matters. Choose right, and you spend less on rotors, tires, and diagnostics. And if you're tempted to skip fluid service because pads feel okay, the next myth explains why the invisible liquid decides how the pedal behaves under heat.
Myth number 3. Brake fluid flushes are a dealer upsell. Brake fluid is hygroscopic. It absorbs water through hoses, seals, and caps. Water lowers boiling point. After a handful of hard stops or one hot downhill, vapor bubbles form and bubbles compress, so the pedal sinks. Water also corrodes ABS valves and caliper bores from the inside, while the outside looks fine. You don't see the damage until a piston sticks or a pump chatters itself to death. Test strips and a boiling point tester tell the truth. Time does too. 2 years is a sensible interval for most cars, sooner for towing, track, mountains, or humid climates. Use the exact spec, DOT 3, 4, or 5.1, never silicone DOT 5 in systems not built for it, and bleed in the sequence the service manual calls for so ABS valves get fresh fluid. A simple flush protects expensive parts, stabilizes pedal feel, and shortens stops when rotors and pads are already hot. Skip it, and you'll blame pads for spongy behavior that fluid caused. Now, even with fresh fluid, some drivers think ABS is a superpower. It isn't, and believing it is sets you up for the next expensive surprise. Myth number 2. ABS means you can stomp and steer. It will sort everything. ABS prevents wheel locks so you can steer. It can't create grip. If your front tires hover at 330 seconds and the pavement's polished with rain, ABS will faithfully pulse you right past the stop sign. ABS can also lengthen stops on loose gravel or deep snow because it prevents the little wedge a locked tire can push up. Stability and brake assist systems also expect matched tire sizes, proper load ratings, and healthy pressures. Mismatches confuse wheel speed logic and dull the helping hand. Treat tires as part of the brake system. Set pressures cold to the placard, rotate on schedule, and keep the best tread on the axle that does the steering, usually the front. Practice threshold braking in a safe, empty lot so you feel the difference between maximum decel and panic pedaling. ABS is an assistant, not a miracle. And when you do feel a pulse in the pedal, don't jump to the most popular diagnosis. The final myth explains why warped rotors are usually something else wearing a disguise. Myth number 1. Every pedal pulse means warped rotors. Hammer the lugs and drive away. True warping on modern vented discs is rare. The common culprit is uneven pad transfer. Overheated pads leave thicker friction film in islands when you stop and hold the pedal. Next drive, the caliper grabs harder on those spots every revolution. Over-torqued or unevenly torqued wheel lugs make it worse by distorting the hat and introducing runout. The fix is process, not force. Clean the hub face to bright metal, measure lateral runout with a dial indicator, and correct with a thin shim if spec allows. Use a torque wrench in a star pattern, not an impact set to guess. Rebed pads so the transfer layer evens out. A string of medium decels, no full stops, cool down rolling. If a disc truly is below minimum or has hard hot spots, blue patches, replace it, both sides of the axle, with new hardware, then torque properly so the problem doesn't return. Get that right and pulses vanish. Get it wrong and you'll be chasing warp forever. So what should you actually do to spend less and stop better, starting with your next brake job?
Quick wins that shrink bills and shorten stops. Buy quality once. Reputable pads and coated rotors matched to your use. Replace hardware, shims, abutment clips, guide pin boots, so pads float freely. Lube only the contact points with a high-temp brake grease. Never smear friction surfaces. Clean and center the caliper bracket, torque sliders to spec and verify hose condition. A swollen inner liner acts like a check valve and drags a wheel. After any brake job, recheck torque and fluid level in a week, then again at the next fuel stop. Keep wheels clean. Corrosive dust and winter salt attack aluminum hats and lug seats. These are small chores that pay large dividends. And if something feels off after all that, diagnose like a pro instead of guessing. Fast diagnostics when the pedal or wheel misbehaves. Squeal on light brake but quiet on hard. Pads are vibrating. Check shims, chamfers, and hardware. Pulls right when braking. Left front may be dragging or right front lazy. Service slides and hoses, then retest. Soft pedal that firms after one pump. Air or pad knockback from hub runout. Measure, bleed, and clean hub faces. One hot wheel after a short drive. Seized slide, stuck piston, or collapsed hose choking fluid return. Rapid steering wheel shake under light braking. Uneven transfer layer. Rebed or correct rotor runout. ABS light that flickers and vanishes. Scan for stored wheel speed faults and inspect tone rings for rust or cracks. Data beats folklore, and a dial indicator beats it looks fine every single time. Brakes should be boring, consistent, and cheap to keep that way. The myths: pads only, ceramics for everyone, flushes are scams, AVS is magic, and every pulse is warp, turn simple physics into expensive folklore. Measure rotors instead of guessing. Choose pad chemistry for how and where you drive. Refresh brake fluid on time. Treat tires as part of the braking system. Fix uneven pad transfer with clean hubs, even torque, free slides, and a real bedding procedure. Do that, and your pedal stays firm, your stops stay short, and your repair bills stay smaller than your grocery receipt. That's the whole point. Spend a little attention now, save a lot of money later, and make every stop feel like the car is on your side.